Okay, so here we are going to look at one of the example for RAG. What I want to show you is that model, let's say ChatGPT. I'm using particularly 3.5. 3.5 has a cutoff date as of January of 2022. It's saying that my last update was in January 2022. And what I'm asking a question that what did President Biden talk about, Chuck Schumer, in his 2023 State of the Union? There is a comment about Chuck Schumer in the 2023 version. Let's do it one more time. ChatGPT 3.5. I'm asking the same question that what Biden talked about, Chuck Schumer. I cannot give you that answer. Now let's look at the State of the Union. This is actually the text State of the Union. What you see, I have downloaded it from the internet. And maybe if we can look at what he mentioned of Chuck Schumer. Let me zoom in a little bit. So it's saying congratulations to Chuck Schumer, another term as a Senate minority or majority leader. Yeah, it's joking around this. But now what we want to solve is we want ChatGPT to answer this question. But since ChatGPT doesn't know this, we will provide this as an input to ChatGPT and we will solve this problem. Now that is where, or this is what it's known as a RAG as a functionality. So what I have is an entire notebook created. I'm gonna run all, and what it's doing, it's installing some of the libraries like LangChain, OpenAI, TikToken, some other experiment and whatever it requires. It's installing those libraries. And from there, I'm importing certain functions. So I need some retrieval aspect. I need a chat OpenAI as an object. I'm getting a text loader because I need to do something with the text, the information what we are giving to the model. Then I'm splitting that text. So I need a text splitter. I'm going to use OpenAI embedding model so that I can convert the raw text into the vector format. That is where the OpenAI embeddings actually is applicable. And there is another function called vector store. So vector store is nothing but a vector database, similar to any SQL database. You might be familiar with Oracle SQL Server, but it's mainly required for storing the vector information. So whatever embeddings we create, that embedding will be stored into the vector store or vector database. It's suffice is the vector store I'm using here. And I'm using some other additional function for doing that functionality. After that, what I'm doing is I'm serving the OpenAI key and I'm using the same model, GPT 3.5 Turbo. Remember here we are using still GPT 3.5. So it's still this Turbo model and GPT 3.5 is behind the scene, it's the same thing. Next, what I'm doing is I'm sending this content. That content is nothing but state of the union.txt, what we saw in this one, right? So this is the state of the union txt, the file name. I'm simply giving that entire file name and getting that content. I'm storing that content as the state of the union file locally, and I'm loading the data in my data loader. I'm printing that file just to show that what is this the real file. And it does say it's President Biden State of the Union, and then thank you, you can smile, it's okay. That's exactly right. Thank you, you can smile, it's okay. So this is the exact thing what we got. And then what we are doing is we are splitting this text because in the vector database, we simply cannot store this text as is. We need to chunk it or create bytes. In this scenario, we are talking about a chunk size of 1,000 token. So we are splitting the text and making sure the data what we have is in the various chunks. So there are various chunks created as a part of this. We got about 70 different chunks. We are converting that text into embedding, and then we are storing that into the vector store. After that, I'm calling my model ChatGPT as a model because we are calling a chat OpenAI function. That's nothing but ChatGPT. Adding some additional, what I would call a hyperparameter, like temperature is one of the hyperparameter, and I have a value of 0.7. So I'm using that as a functionality for now. And finally, I'm asking question, what did President Biden say about Chuck Schumer? And I got an answer that President Biden acknowledged Chuck Schumer, referring to him as the Senate minority in the bracket majority leader. He mentioned that Schumer has slightly bigger majority this time around. So if we go back to this, here we go. Chuck Schumer, another term as a Senate majority minority leader. I think you only this time have a slightly bigger majority, Mr. Leader. So again, this is a raw text. It actually converted that raw text into a better output. But the point is, by still using the GPT 3.5 as a model, here we go. Where is our model? Sorry, I'm scrolling up and down, but I just want to make sure that I show you that it's still we are using GPT 3.5 as a model. Here we go. I'm still using GPT 3.5 Turbo as a model, which has a knowledge cutoff date of January of 2022, and still we were able to retrieve this answer. So in a way, this is the entire flow of what we call retrieval, then augmented, and finally what we got is a generation or generated. The point is, any new data what we want to feed or updated data we want to feed, we can use a functionality like RAG. Okay, that was helpful. Hopefully that was helpful. Thank you.